Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be covering something that I don't normally focus on too much for my videos, which is PvP in the arena. That's mostly because I personally do not care for PvP in most games I play. I'll say the vast majority of the games I play, and I typically prefer the PvE content, or my personal favorite is the guilds. So anything that has guilds are going to be what I tend to focus on the most. So anyways, I've been asked by quite a few people to cover arena, and that will be in a different video. What the point of this video is going to be basically how I approach my attacks, what types of enemies I think I could defeat, what types of enemies I don't think I could defeat, how I'm lining up my team, and then what types of characters I will be running. So in later videos I will cover a little bit more on the different types of comps that are used, as well as what types of defense maps are good for them, and then how to do a little bit of counterplay. But you'll have to wait for that one. So I know I cannot beat this guy, definitely for sure. If it's an Eironn comp, it's about 50-50 for me. It just depends on how built their characters are. So right here I see both of these are only, they have 2 stars above their heads, which means they're only going to be +5. So this is a comp that I am very likely able to beat, and they are running confining spell, so that does add some RNG to it. But this is a character or an enemy I would be able to defeat. This person for sure I'd be able to defeat. Vala comps are typically my favorite ones to go against, just because they usually just run a single DPS. This person's spicing things up a little bit by adding a Viperion, but again, he's not quite as much of an issue as this Vala, especially since they've hyper invested into this Vala. And so if I take this out, then I will have smooth sailing ahead. So I'm just going to go ahead and enter in here. So it is important to note that when you enter in, you could always just go back even once you've already hit challenge, so there is no penalty for doing that. You could basically see how they have their team set up. So usually for people who do not have Reinier, these types of comps are going to be very difficult for you to defeat, just because Vala scales, and especially if they're smarter like this person is, where they're putting Vala behind Thoran, that makes it a little bit harder to kill her before things get off. So this is my standard team that I use. It's going to be Thoran, Eironn, Carolina, Damien, and then Reinier. So I bring this team specifically for the synergy that's provided, and Reinier, he's the MVP who would not make the style strategy that I use possible, and that is basically I choose whatever their main damage dealer is, which is this Vala right here, and then I swap them over to my side, and I swap them with Eironn, who gets the bonus, the damage bonus, and then he also gets the defense bonus as well from Reinier's ult, as well as the lifesteal for taking damage. So that helps him to stay alive a little bit longer in the backline. It's really useful if the enemy puts their main damage dealers in the back, because that means that when I swap Eironn to the backline, then that is going to be a little bit easier to start attacking their other squishies that are in the backline. This person is running a double. This is an anti-Vala comp right here as well, so it's not quite as specialized as this one, just because they only have Vala as the main DPS and then Viperion is there for sub DPS. The whole strategy is that I just swap Eironn over, kill Vala, and then I just slowly clear the rest of them. Typically I will use Damien is going to be my bait for Vala, just because he disappears, and then once he is in his cart form, then it's going to swap to my Carolina here, but that'll take a hot second, and so that helps them to be able to take the first hit, and then the Carolina targeting also gets messed up. So the prison duration, it seems to target the backline characters most often, but it is kind of random. If the enemy is running a lightning spell, this strategy often does not work, because typically the target I want to swap is in the backline. So if they are running this, then it's like, okay, I'm not going to be attacking them. If it's anything else, then I'm like, okay, yeah, you'll just go straight ahead and have no problems. So I'll go ahead and start this here so you see how it works. So Eironn will always cast his group ultimate first before swapping over. So that's nice because, again, that's an additional stall. So if I wanted to, I could put Carolina further up ahead, and then once Damien disappears and then the cart is there, Vala will sometimes hit Eironn first, depending on their speed that they have on them. So we'll go ahead and check the battle stats, because I always yell at people, hey, show the battle stats so you can see how they did. So Eironn did pretty good here. Thoran was actually their main damage, but that was just a clean sweep. So we'll go ahead and go check out some of these next people. So if they are also running a similar comp, or rather if they are running Reinier, then I typically tend to avoid them, and I'll showcase the reasons why. Because I want to I want to target Vala, pretty much. That's my goal. So if I move things around like this in order to swap with them, because that's the swap target right there. So if I do that, they're just going to double swap on each other, which means they're just going to end up where they started, and so that's not going to be quite as useful as, you know, just getting the target I want and killing them. So I could go for another target if I wanted to, which could work, but again, there's the RNG factor, so I just prefer not to deal with any of that, and I just simply avoid that fight. And we'll go ahead and check some of these other ones. So again, this is the Eironn comp. I'll go ahead and show a little bit on why it's difficult. Okay, so this is a good map to talk about. Arena 3, this is one of the better maps for defense in my opinion, just because I can't use Reinier here, and then if I was to use someone like Scarlita as well, then the hitting, or where she hits, is going to be a little bit more spread than if it's something like this where she would hit more enemies at the same time. So that also makes it very difficult to get their damage dealers. So they are running double support here, so they're relying on Eironn to stall and get procs for Arden. So I could win this if I have some good RNG, but he is also running a lightning spell, so the rearmost hero is going to have control immunity, which is kind of weird that they're putting Haywin here and instead of Eironn, but yeah, that's how it is. So I wouldn't approach that one right here. Kelly is another one that is these are kind of hit and miss, just because again, this is Arena 3, so it's harder. So it is a little bit better because I can hit their backline here, so if they put their damage dealer here, then I can sneak it out. I can't use the Reinier swap if I was going up against a Scarlita. It just does not work. So she'll jump up into the air, and Eironn does not end up swapping. So that's why you can't use him as effectively versus a Scarlita in these types of comps. So what I would do here is I would go and I would refresh, and then try looking at some of these other ones. So here we are, we have another Scarlita. Alright, here's a Vala Cecia. So we'll go ahead and hop in, because this is one I know I'll be able to clear, and then it's also Arena 1, so this is, you know, this is good for me as well. I'm just going to go like this, and then boom. Alright, so basically Ironn's going to swap in. He's likely going to start hitting Cecia, just because Thoran's going to move forward, Igor's also going to jump and move forward, and so that'll help to be able to finish off both of their back lines. Depends on where Rowan starts running to. So, I mean, where I place Eironn, Reinier doesn't matter quite as much, but I'm going to move him forward just so I know for sure that Damien's going to be taking Vala's initial attack here. So we'll go ahead and start this battle so you can see how it runs. So there's the ult, there's the swap, and then there's Eironn going for Cecia. Alright, that's Cecia down. And then there's Rowan's ult, so it is slow there, and so he didn't get it off in time. So that's one of the things. I used to like Rowan in the earlier arena stages, but for more of this higher end game PvP, he's just too slow, and I'd rather have the haste that's granted from Damien instead of just the raw energy. Alrighty, we'll go ahead. I'm not going to attack blue. So this is fairly similar to my comp. So they're running double support instead of, well, I guess this is technically double support since I count Reinier as a support character. But again, this is also a good one. Just Arena 3 confining spell just does a lot better with these types of comps, because you're just basically stalling for a brief moment until your main damage dealer gets an attack off. So I wouldn't attack this comp, not only because he's my guildmate, but also because I'm not confident I would be able to defeat it. This is one I was like, okay, there's Reinier here, but I was like, maybe we'll check it out. I think I've already looked at this person before. Yeah, so I've looked at this person before, so I'm not going to attack them. We'll go ahead and look at Acme. So alright, there's all of the win conditions here. The enemy is using Tamicia again, so this is a counter for Vala, just because Vala is predominant. I'd probably say it's mostly used in the top 20 to 50 is probably where she's used the most. In those, you'll see a couple of what's it called, OD comps. So I'm gonna run like this, so that way Vala is going to be attacking my, or I could do this as well, but probably this is gonna be better. Alrighty, and then I'm just checking confining spell. Alright, we're good. So Temesia, what was I saying? Yeah, OD. So OD is probably maybe 5% of the teams in the top 20 to 50. So Vala actually was able to get her attack off just because I was stunned by Temesia running through the first rotation. So that is good. If hers was a little bit more built, then her Vala was a little bit more built, then it would have been able to survive a little bit, but it wasn't strong enough to one-shot my my Carolina, especially with the Damien ult going on as well. So yeah, you can see there's the breakup there. We'll go ahead and go to the next one. Let's see, Sultan, so this is another of my guild members. Castella, so alright, I don't see any defeat conditions for me here, so I'm gonna go ahead and check it out. It is Arena 3, but they did split it up weirdly where they put their Cecia here, so this is going to work great for me. It's kind of weird because whenever they do it like this, I have to swap it a little bit. So I could even go like this. That'd be even better, because that means that Cecia is going to be using her Imprison either on my Thoran or it's going to be on my Damien. So then it's just further easier for me here. So again, confining, and then we're good here. So we'll go ahead and get started. Alright, that was the first one. The group actually pulled Cecia in, but Eironn went for Rowan instead, just because that was a close starting one. But the Vala was just instantly deleted after that first swap, so there's nothing really I need to worry about too much. Sometimes Igor can kill my teams. That's usually if I'm very low. So that's typically if I'm going up against an Eironn comp, or sorry, like a full Wilder comp. They can usually pop 2 or 3 of my characters, and then it's a struggle to see, okay, how well is your sustain. So whoever has a better sustain for the initial burst is gonna do a little bit better. So full, okay, again, this is another one of my guildmates. Alright, so here we are, another Vala comp, so I'll just go through and eat this one. So it is an Arena 3, but they are grouped here again, so, but they did do it a little bit better where they moved them off to the side here. So it's harder for me to get to there. So picking Igor won't really help. I could do Cecia here, but I won't. I could probably do well here, just because I know that if I was to do it like this and swap it like this, maybe we'll do it like this. And then I think this should be fine here, just because they don't have anybody who's going to AoE group and kill my Carolina. I typically prefer, I could even do something like this, where I'd be a little bit safer with my Carolina. That way it'll give the damage reduction from Thoran when he's taking some of the damage. This will be the for sure way of taking them out, and I'm looking at the damage lines. They are still targeting Thoran here, so this should be good. It's not something I would normally run, but I'm just showcasing to you guys how it would still work here in this case. Alrighty, that was the group and the kill there, so we're good. We're just gonna finish off Thoran here, and then boom, voila. So that's doing well here. We'll show the battle stats. So here we are. As you can see, they didn't really even get an attack off. They just instantly died. So that's fun. Typically, you want to use as many of your purchases here that you can get out of it. So here, I'm not going to attempt that. This is my guild member. I'm not going to attempt that. Okay. Oh, so this is one of the people who is running a Bryon. So I'll go ahead and show attacking this. It works a little. It's interesting because it has quite a bit of sustain. Because it's a Haywin and a Granny, and Granny can do a little bit of CC as well, so that's really good. It's just about getting it off. So Leica as well with the buff to attack is really good. So I think this would be great if it wasn't Arena 1, but because it's Arena 1, I'm basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull my backline back. We're going to go like this, and then Yep, we're gonna go just like this. So that means Eironn is going to go for the cart, and then my Reinier should be fine living for a little bit. And then I will be able to finish eating the Eironn, and then I won't really have to worry about anybody. I should be able to out-sustain all of the damage. Eironn will be the only one I'm worried about. He might be able to kill my Reinier, but then by then it shouldn't really matter too much. He doesn't run, he's not running this, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the name, a lightning spell, so again, that's not going to be quite a worry for me. And then with this imprisonment, I might even hit Leica in the beginning, we'll see here. Yeah, so it did hit Leica, and it did hit Eironn, so they're basically just gimped. And then, you know, that Eironn is I think he has a little bit of a self-sustain with his leaves, helps him to stay alive. So I have fought one of them before where a Eironn came and he was just able to clean up my backline because I didn't have Thoran on my Carolina, and so he was able to snipe her, and then that made it more difficult for me to win, but it still was a win in the end. So you see, he still did pretty good despite being under, you know, all those effects there. So it is important that you do run this as many times as possible, especially as a free-to-play player. Let's see, Hermit, no. I mean, I really don't want to, but we'll go ahead and run just so you can see a little bit on how I would approach this. So I want to focus on Carolina because she's the main kill condition. Arden is more of his stall, who could do quite a bit of damage, and then their Eironn he's just there to group up for them. So I think I'm going to go like this, and then that way the damage is split some. It would be preferable if I could do it like, let's see if I could get it without. Alright, we'll do it like this, and I think this will be fine. Just because Eironn is going to come down, and he should target Reinier instead, so maybe I pull Damien here, and that'll help him survive a little bit with the cart there. So that's how I'm going to approach it. We'll see how this turns out. These are always kind of like hit or miss, just depends on how the RNG for it goes. But just if I could wipe out their Carolina, you know, that's their main damage, and then usually it's a little bit of a cleanup from there. Arden usually does not have enough burst to one-shot my main carry, which is my Carolina. So, alrighty, that went well. Thank you, Arena 1. You are forever giving me gifts. If it was Arena 3, typically I'll see they'll put Thoran here on the side, they'll put Carolina up here, and then they'll have Eironn, and then Huan, and then whatever else is their fifth, which is usually an Arden. Alrighty, how much time do I have left? One more battle before reset. Costella, sure. I saw Avala and I said yum, delicioso. So they did another weird split here. So I'm just gonna go like this. Rotate them. Oy. Alright, like so. I guess I'm gonna have to do it like this instead. Alright, we're gonna go like this and call it good. And this is gonna be my PvP battles for the day. So, yeah, I hope this helped you guys see a little bit more into the thoughts for just this specific team. Later I'll start covering more on the other teams. So if I was that full Wilder team, how would I approach battles? If I was the Scarlita team, how would I approach battles? If I was the Vala team, how would I approach battles? And then if you were in the lower ranks, it'd be if I was on like a Cessia team, how would I approach the battles? So, alrighty, I'll go ahead and end it there. Arena has refreshed, blah blah blah, and I'll go ahead and catch you all in my next video.